सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Just share the screen. Yeah, we stopped for the discussion about the holy name of the Lord in the last session. So we'll continue from this paragraph. Anyone can read?
Mataji, may I read, Mataji?
Yes, sir, Mataji.
From where, Mataji?
You're able to see the screen?
While giving instruction, is it from there?
Yeah.
While giving instruction to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into three categories. Shastra Yukti Nahi Janidrita Shraddhavan Madhyama Adhikari Se Mahabhagyavan. A person whose conclusive knowledge of Shastras is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service, should be considered a Madhyamadikari. Such a person is very fortunate. CC Madhyalila 22.67. A Madhyamadikari is a Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila 22.64, it is said, Shraddhavan Jana Haya Bhakti Adhikari Uttama Madhyama Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service according to the development of his Shraddha, faith. Again, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22.62, it is said, Shraddha Sabde Vishwasa Kahe Shudra Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kritahaya. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith favorable to discharge of devotional service is called Shraddha. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The word of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men, and whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is without interpretation. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etat ritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. BG 10.14. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Can anyone read the next paragraph?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam Mataji.
Okay. Krishnamurti Prabhu, you can read.
Next.
Yes, Prabhu.
This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, and this is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality, especially the last instruction, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender it unto me. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one strong faith becomes the basis of advancing in spiritual life. Shall I continue, Mataji?
No problem. Swati Mataji can read the next part.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
When one fully engages in chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevonmukho hi jihvado swayam eva spurat adaha. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234. We cannot realize the supreme personality of Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Such service begins with tongue, Sevon Mukhehi Jivvadu, which means that we should always chant holy names of Lord and accept Krishna Prasada. We should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Yeah, so we saw different ways of who is a Madhyama Adhikari, who is a Kanishta Adhikari, and who is a Uttama Adhikari. So based on the instructions given to Sanatana Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has divided this devotional service into 3 categories. Now here, in the 3 categories is nothing but Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari and Kanishta Adhikari. But based on what? It is based on the faith. So even if a person is not very strong in the Shastric, but if he has developed firm faith in chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and also doing his devotional service and also prescribed duties very well, so we can consider such a devotee as Madhyama Adhikari. So here he is a staunchly faithful person. His faith is not disturbed here. He is having unflinching faith, you can tell. So we see this type of devotees also, right? One example we can see of, or the love of the poor Brahmana who was not able to read the Shastra, like read Bhagavad Gita, but he had so much love for the Lord. So that is how the faith is. And we also see many devotees who may not be able to read the book because of being illiterate or some other reasons, but they have the firm faith in the chanting of the holy name, the firm faith that Krishna is there for them, that the Lord will protect them in all respects. So such faith person is also considered a Madhyama Adhikari. And he becomes a candidate also here, as mentioned, for progressing in the devotional service. And coming to this Chaitanya Charitamrita, the shloka where Shraddhavan Jan hai, Bhakti Adhikari, Uttama Madhyama Kanishta, Shraddha Anusari. So based on this, first is actually the Shraddha. So when the faith is firm, that becomes actually the root here, the root of the devotional practices. So if our Shraddha is stronger, then we can build the step by step over here. So this is an initial stage, we can tell, but here also slowly the Shraddha goes on. So one becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform. So in Kanishta, where what is the faith over there? It is not still strong enough. If there are some distress or if there are some difficulties, he cannot take shelter of the Lord. He or she cannot take the shelter of the Lord. Their faith is not still strong enough. So they get disturbed by the distress what they undergo. And there are chances that they don't have faith in the Lord. They lose faith in the Lord. They start not practicing the devotional practices if they have come newly. So when there is a quite a distress, they leave the devotional practices also. Why? Because there is no faith that the Lord will take care or the Lord will protect. No, the Lord has left me in this situation even when I am practicing devotional practices. This is where the neophyte devotees undergo. So if some Madhyamadhikari devotees instruct them and bring them and make their faith stronger, they may come. Or if there is no association of devotees or if they don't take their guidance, then there is a chance that they will not continue with their devotional practices. So basically, we have to slowly, when practicing our devotional service, we have to increase our faith. So how we can increase our faith? So only when we are determined. So in Bhagavad Gita, we have seen the example of the sparrow who was determined, right? So there where it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 6.24 verse, the story of a sparrow. What happens with her? It is a something which the sparrow, where it goes and lays its egg in the ocean, and in the ocean water it just goes off. So it just tells the ocean that to return back his eggs, but the ocean just laughs at it and does not give any proper response. So, but what is a sparrow? It is a very tiny bird, but its determination was very big. So what did it tell? It just told that if you don't give my eggs back, I'm going to empty your water from the ocean. So and it started even taking the dip in its beak and taking dip by dip water. So how long it will go on? But see the determination of the sparrow. So it may look a small work, but the determination was very strong. So when the determination is very strong and this message goes on to Garuda, so seeing the sparrow's unflinching determination, the Garuda comes to help the sparrow. Now the Garuda comes and tells the ocean, get back the egg. Otherwise, I will empty your water. So now when Garuda has spoken, now the ocean knows the capacity and the strength of the Garuda. So it brings back its eggs. So this strong determination, when we start making in our devotional practices, then there was a chance of getting association of other devotees and getting help in progress in devotional practices. And slowly, that is how the faith also increases. And the next point, what is mentioned is, by rendering this transcendental service to Krishna, so one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. So this for faith will be, that is called as Shraddha. So that here Prabhupada is connecting with Bhagavad Gita. So what is Bhagavad Gita? He is trying to tell that it is not that we just hear Bhagavad Gita and consider only one verse as proper, another verse, no, I don't accept it. No. So Krishna here, so when Krishna instructed Arjuna all the things from the first chapter or from the second chapter, if you consider, from second chapter, Krishna started instructing Arjuna, but till the level of 10th chapter, in this sloka where we see Sarvam Etadam Manye Mam Vadasi Keshava. So I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. So till that time he was questioning him and Krishna was answering him back. So he was not able to accept all the instruction what Krishna was telling. So at this point, without any interpretation, Arjuna accepts Bhagavad Gita. So uh, here also that faith should be there for us, that whatever is been mentioned in the scriptures, I agree it is not that we can tell it is a blind faith. No, there are pastimes related with in Bhagavatam where how the Lord has protected, so how their faith is been increased. So totally the Lord will also protect one who surrenders unto him. So all this content where we hear, when we hear from the pastimes or from the Bhagavatam, our faith increases. So same thing here, Prabhupada is also telling the one more point. Yeah. So how it is to understand Bhagavad Gita? You have to accept Bhagavad Gita as it is. There should not be any interpretation. So that is why Prabhupada made the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Now also we get the book Bhagavad Gita as it is. So that it is not that we take only one part and reject the other part. No. So totally we have to accept it strongly. So now Prabhupada is connecting with this verse, the famous verse, 18, this Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Praja. So what exactly is Prabhupada trying to tell us through this verse? Can anyone tell? Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Praja.
Mataji, leave all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. Means,
Yeah.
should you karma yoga, jnana yoga, and karma yoga, jnana yoga, and take bhakti yoga. Please tell me.
Sorry, you please repeat, Mataji.
Mataji, are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Leave all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. He's telling Mataji. He's telling one more thing. He's telling that leave karma yoga and jnana yoga, take bhakti yoga.
Yes. So here abandoning the varieties of religion means you have to take to Bhakti Yoga, which is the highest most method to surrender to Krishna. So other there are varieties of things, but we need not take that. So here Krishna is telling about devotional practices, the Bhakti Yoga, which is the topmost and which does not have any like it is pure devotional service. He's not talking only about devotional service. He's talking about pure devotional service, where we are not aspiring for any result also. We just want to surrender on to Krishna and to get the love of Krishna. So that is what here Prabhupada is trying to tell us through this instruction, that we need to faithfully follow the instruction. So in that way, our faith becomes stronger, and that becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life. Yeah, and coming to, so how we should start with, how we can start the spiritual life, as we read in earlier paragraphs also about the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord. So when we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, we talk more about the inattentiveness of chanting and the quality of chanting. So all this matters. So not only when we are practicing devotional practices, not only chanting of the holy name, even when we are hearing a discourse, or we are reading a Bhagavatam or any other scriptures, we need to be attentive. If we are inattentive for anything, either for chanting or for hearing or for reading, that is also becomes an aparadh. So when we are performing any devotional activity, we need to be there in fully 100%. So here, when we understand that Hare Krishna, at least theoretically, we know that Krishna, there is no difference between the Lord and the holy name. So with this realization, at least, or understanding that there is no difference between the holy name and the Lord, and we are chanting the holy name, then the faith also increases. So when we are faithfully chanting, when we are fully dedicated to chanting the holy name, then only Krishna will reveal himself. So now, how we can engage in the service of the Lord? That is only main thing is through the tongue. If the tongue is controlled, the other senses are controlled. This we learned in the first verse. So by eating Krishna Prasad, and then the second one is chanting the holy name of the Lord. So here, so there are various things which we need to understand. So when we gradually realize, so here it is mentioned, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. So at a stage, you will only come to know your identity, your spiritual identity. It's not the material identity as Amala Bhakti or Ashwini or whatever. So it happens only when we are in the Bhava stage. That is, the Bhava stage comes only when we are in the Uttamadhikari stage. So Bhava and Prema will come only for Uttamadhikari. So when we are fully engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, right? So just by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. So unless one faithfully chants, Krishna does not reveal himself. So just by chanting the holy name, we can come to the stage of realizing our spiritual identity. But how much we should be engaged in the chanting is the question. So we should not be doing any aparadhs. That is what we studied in the earlier verses, that how much we should be attentive while chanting. So in the initial stages, when we have started chanting, we may not come up to certain level. Sometimes we may not be pronouncing the names of those syllables also properly. So when we start concentrating on chanting each syllable, like Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, or coming to Hare Ram, right? So we may try to swallow one of the Ram over there, or we may miss it out, or we may add one more extra. So all these things may happen if you have observed while your own chanting. So we need to concentrate on proper pronunciation and then chant at least by hearing the holy name. So basically, when we are chanting, it is being told that whichever deities you are attracted to, like Radha Madhav, or Radha Gopinath, or Radha Shyam Sundar, whoever it may be, or even Panchatattva, whichever deity form of the Lord, if you are attracted to, you can just keep it in front of you and just concentrate on chanting the holy name of the Lord, so that our mind does not get distracted, or the thoughts process keeps on coming. So we can stop that. So we can just concentrate only on chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, and then in Nishta stage, you will actually, we know that the soul is different from the body theoretically, but we don't have a realization of that we are souls, we are not the body. So this happens only in the Nishta stage. So most of us are in which stage? Either Anartha Nivritti or so the Anartha Nivritti stage is a long process stage. So it will take time, but we see that there are devotees who cross quickly the Anartha Nivritti stage and become a Madhyama to a Uttama Adhikari stage. So it all depends on our intensity of practicing the devotional practices. And there are devotees who might have practiced in their previous lives and they have just taken to complete it this life. So it is only based on our intensity and what we might have. If we have started from the first, it will take time. If we have started somewhere from half the way, we may finish it. So we may not, what you tell, we may not think about all this a lot. We can just keep on going, practicing the devotional practices, and each time to be conscious of what we are doing, and each moment to learn from the devotees, whoever is surrounding you, or when you go for an yatra, like most of you had gone for a Vrindavan yatra, so you learn from the devotees and see the devotees, what they are doing, what they are speaking, right? So from each devotee, we can learn so many things, and whatever inspires you to do also that, yes, I should also follow this, I should also do like that. So we can always get inspired and start following it in our lives. So that is the basic point here. Okay. We'll just continue this. We can finish. Yeah, Kripamaya Mataji, you can read the next paragraph. Hare Krishna. Kripamaya Mataji, you can read. Okay, Uma Mataji, you can read.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. One second, Mataji. I'll sit and read. Hare Krishna. When a person, is it not Mataji?
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranams, Mataji.
Dandavat.
When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna, he understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttama Adhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes: Dadari, Pratignahariti, etc. Indeed, the advanced Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari, in particular, is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavata without being self-realized. For by such initiation, one will eventually become degraded. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Okay, Mataji.
No. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. The devotee should always know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttamadhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttama Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform. And it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here, a Uttama Adhikari is been mentioned. So who is a Uttama Adhikari? So we read the first few lines. So when a person realizes himself, right, till here. So he has realized that he is an, sorry. Yeah. So he has realized he is an eternal servant of the Lord. So this is also again coming to the Nishta stage where he will come to know he is the eternal servant of the Lord. So there is no interest in anything but only in the service of the Lord. So always thinking of Krishna and seeing that how he can tell about the holy name of Krishna, how he can preach Krishna conscious movement, Krishna conscious to others. So we see many Uttama Adhikaris who are physically not in a good state, but still they are going on spreading the Krishna conscious movement. So their thought process is only to preach and to give Krishna to others. So we need to take such association. So one can consider a Uttama Adhikari as our spiritual master because they are only trying to serve the Lord and they encourage others to take into the process of devotional practices. So in earlier days, there was this process of offering everything to the spiritual master, like particularly here it is mentioned about the brahmacharis who used to do madhukari, who used to go and beg to each house and get some grains and then give it to the spiritual master, and then they used to cook it and have it again, give it to the spiritual master, and once he has it, they have it like that. So, and the next point what is here is we are not supposed to imitate. We can follow in the footsteps of an Uttama Adhikari, but not imitate. So if we try to imitate, we may fall down in our devotional practices. It's not going to help us. So only follow in the footsteps of Uttama Adhikari. And yeah, and also here Rupa Goswami is distinguished in so many ways. In this nectar of instruction verse 5, I'll summarize it in the last. The division is being made on different basis. So we learned different things over there. So we need to understand who is a Uttama Adhikari, who is a Madhyama Adhikari. And when we are choosing a spiritual master, we need to see that he is in the platform of Uttamadhikari. So then only we can accept Vaishnava disciples. So person who is a neophyte or who is in a Kanishta Adhikari, who is also a Madhyama Adhikari, we cannot accept Diksha from such people. We need to take it only from a Uttama Adhikari. We read this in the first verse. So those who, what is the first verse of Nectar of Instruction? Who can make disciples?
Vacho Vedam Manasa Krodha Vedam. Mataji.
Correct. So those who has controlled the senses will be able to control the mind, and in turn will be able to accept disciples. So who will be in such platform? Only a Uttamadhikari. So basically it is summarized that only need to take Diksha from Uttama Adhikari. So I'll just summarize this, that share this. You are able to see this?
Yes, Mataji, but very small.
So this purport of this verse 5, you have already read this. I'm just summarizing that in how it is being given. So here we can see that the three definitions have been given. So based on as Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttamadhikari. So in the first two and three paragraphs, you will see based on Bhagavatam. And then whatever as per Rupa Goswami's definition in Nectar of Instruction, that again comes in para 4 to 9. And the different kinds of Vaishnavas based on chanting of the holy name. So that comes in para 10. And in 11, again based on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching only, but Satyaraj Kant. So who is considered as a devotee? Even if he chants the holy name one time, he is considered as a devotee. And based on 12 and 13, that is what we read today, based on the teachings of Sanatana Goswami. Again, the three kinds of Vaishnavas are being discussed. And 14 and 15, that how one can advance from Kanishta to Uttama by chanting of the holy name, and based on the faith in the Lord. And then in the conclusion about whom we need to consider a Uttamadhikari. So this is what is Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. All this we saw. So based on this, I shared last time also Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari. And then, yeah, this is what is definition in each part. As I gave you an example of a person who is doing engineering based on if a person who wants to go and do engineering, he has to write so many exams, right? Like IIT or CET, like that. So for IIT, the ranking process is different, the methods are different. So same way here also, we considered a Uttama Adhikari, a Madhyama Adhikari, Kanishta Adhikari on different scripture based, or for example now in according to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu definition, a Uttama Adhikari can be from Nishtha to Asakti, whereas a person who is there in the Nishtha stage only, we can consider him as an Uttama Adhikari, like little a lower stage. If you see this, if you can, where is Nishtha? Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava and Prema. Okay, so according to this definition, sorry. According to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu definition, a Uttamadhikari will can be considered from Nishta stage only. But when you consider the definition of nectar of instruction, it is little on the higher side, bhava to prema. So a person who is only on the bhava stage, we can consider him as a Uttamadhikari. So based on the different books, based on different definitions, it is been divided over here. So now, like, whatever is the definition of nectar of instruction and Bhagavatam definition is almost similar. Okay, like bhava to prema, nishta to prema, anartha nivritti in the case of Uttamadhikari I'm speaking. Whereas definition of Sanatana Shiksha, that is what we read just now, Sanatan Goswami, for the whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the teachings to Sanatana Goswami based on that, Nishta to Asakti. So again, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is Rupa Goswami's part. So here also, and Sanatana Shiksha going along with each other. Whereas the level of nectar of instruction is little higher side. So here a Madhyamadhikari is considered from Anartha Nivritti to Asakti. Whereas here in Bhaktirasamrit Sindhu, whoever is in Asakti is also considered as a Uttamadhikari. So this is that is why I gave you an example that a person who has got a ranking in IIT and in CET, right? So same way here. The ranking maybe variation will be there, but the level is high for IIT. So here also the level is higher for Bhagavatam and nectar of instruction definition. Whereas even for the definition for, this is of Pulinagram, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave on. So there is one more, this was based on all the books, but what was the classification done? See, the faith and the shastric logic. Even if the person is not, right, we read just now, the Sanatana Shiksha, faith and shastric logic. So if the person is not having shastric knowledge also, but he is having strong faith, so he is considered as Madhyamadhikari. And in case of Pulinagram, those who are serving the Vaishnavas, who are doing the holy name, chanting of the holy name, right? So based on different aspects, they are being considered as based on all these classifications. So we saw also in the beginning nectar of instruction definition of who is Kanishta, who is Madhyama, and who is Uttamadhikari. So based on the respect and loving exchanges. So we saw three people in Kanishta Adhikaris, right? Those who does not respect any Vaishnava, but he will be chanting the holy name. There is one more who will be chanting not constantly, and he will not be following the four regulative principles. So we should not make association with him. And there is the other one who is showing respect to the Vaishnavas, but yeah, he's still in the Kanishta Adhikari, but who can very fastly advance to Madhyama Adhikari. So the dealings based on the dealings with people, with giving respect and loving exchanges. So different classifications on based on that, a person is been considered, or a devotee is considered to be a Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. Okay. So this is what we learned in this. So you can just go back and you can note down this. Then there will be a clear understanding of Kanishta Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, and Madhyama Adhikari. So hope that is clear here. So you have anything to ask, any questions on this? I will share this in the group so you can see that. But yeah, hopefully it will be more clear when you see in your mobiles. So any
Please
yes.
share slides in the group, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhu. That I will share it, Prabhu.
Please. It helps us to reveal once again at our level.
Yes,
Thank
Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So there's no question. So everything is clear. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, I can hear.
Mataji, according to different Mataji, according to
Your
different shastras,
sorry,
Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
1 minute, Mataji. Your voice is breaking. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, according to different scriptures, means Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, extra of instruction, Bhagavatam, they are telling different stages for Mataji. How can we understand
That's
that
what,
is
Mataji. Based on the based on the classification, it is based on the faith. It is based on chanting of the holy name. So even a person who is chanting just once the holy name, he is considered as a devotee. He is considered in the Kanishta Adhikari level. So whereas in other cases, we may not consider him immediately into the level of Kanishta Adhikari. So like this, there are different classifications which I shared you based on faith, uh, based on different books. So like that, each devotee will come. That is why I gave you an example. You can think of a person who writes, like who has to get admission for an engineering college. He will write different exams, like the IIT, the CET. So his ranking is different in each perspective. So in IIT, the level is too high. So his ranking may be very back, right? So a person who wants to be a Uttama Adhikari, in case of Bhaktirasamrit Sindhu, in case of nectar of instruction, it will be from Bhava to Prema, the last two stages among the 9 stages. Bhava and Prema is only considered as Uttama Adhikari. Whereas in Bhaktirasamrit Sindhu, it starts from the Nishta stage only. The same way, the example of IIT, the level is high, whereas CET, the level is little low. So similarly here also, the range will, on a higher range, the person is considered into a Uttama Adhikari. Whereas a person, if the level is too high, the person will be considered a Uttama Adhikari only when he is in the last 2 stages, that is the Bhava and the Prema. So like that, it is being divided here. So based on that, we can understand that where do we stand, or where does the devotee stand, and who is called on basis on chanting the holy name, or based on his understanding of the scriptures also. Here it is been divided. Based on faith, if the person is having strong unflinching faith in the Lord, and if he is not a person who can preach or who has a very strong understanding of the scriptures, he still can be considered as a Madhyamadhikari. So like this, we need to understand this, Mataji. So you have to go back. I'll share this PowerPoint. You have to go back, you have to read it, and you have to understand this. So then it will be clear to you who is called as Uttama, who is called as Madhyama, and who is called as Kanishta here. Based on all these angles, you have to read it, and you have to, according to, first you need to understand this definition based on this classification, and then you will be able to get it. So this little work, again we need to do it, Mataji.
Mataji, thank you for clarification. And one more thing, it is mainly depending on faith only, no, Mataji. How much percentage of faith you are having, according to that, your bhakti also depends on that.
Yeah.
Is it right?
Yeah, basically based on the faith, but other things are also required, like following the principles, all the things. So we are now in the stage of practicing bhakti. We are not gone to a level of raga anuga bhakti. We are only still practicing devotees. So based on all these aspects, it has been divided how the devotees are. That's all. Only for our understanding, because when we need to associate, we need to associate with Madhyama Adhikaris for our progress. It's not that we should not go and be with Kanishta Adhikari, but we are not going to gain anything. So whenever we want to take association or anything much or any guidance, we go to a Madhyama Adhikari or a Uttama Adhikari, right? A person who is in the same level, who knows as much as I know. So I'll not get any information, or I will not get any guidance from that person. So we'll always go to a person who is above us, right? So, but how do we know that who is above us? So based on all this perspective, it is been considered into 3 categories. So where we can go and approach a Madhyama Adhikari or a Uttama Adhikari for any guidance or for greater association. So that is how it has been classified here, Mataji. And we need not get too much into thoughts whether I come under this category or that category. We need not get too much in all those thoughts. This is only for our understanding, a better understanding, and we can just raise our levels wherever we are from. So, like what we should be doing based on faith. How is my faith level? So you can just rate yourself. Yes, my faith is not so strong. So I come under the Kanishta Adhikari. So I should increase my faith. So in that way, this category or classification, whatever is been made, it will help us. Okay, my scriptural understanding is not so great. So I have to work on that. So in this way, it will help us. And how good is my chanting, right? I'm not chanting so well. So all these factors matter. So we can work on that individually, where I am going, where I have to progress. So in that way, this helps. Okay, Mataji?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. We will end here, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I'll share the things in the group, Mataji. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.